Hello guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So this is the first video, well the first repair video on the Ford Focus Estate, and we are going to be replacing the handbrake cable. So if you guys have issues with your handbrake cable, stay tuned. So the handbrake cable comes in, I believe, 4 parts. From the diagrams I've seen online, there is a cable that runs from your handbrake down to kind of the middle, and then it stops. From that point you have a cable, well, you have two. It splits. You have one going to that wheel and one coming along to this wheel. This is this part here. This is the part I've picked up. This here is where it connects to the front cable. So your cable comes down to about there. This hooks up to that. Then these run off independently to each rear wheel. And then these kind of float. You can't really see, but they're kind of just back there. And then from there to the drum, you have these shorter pieces. For the most part, most people will probably just replace this section, which I think is going to be quite simple. I mean, I've not done this before. I am not a professional by any means. I'm not an expert in this. This is all brand new to me. So I'm just assuming that this just connects under here, and this bit will just hook onto the cable from the handbrake. And it's a case of removing heat shields, removing a couple of nuts, I'm assuming, or maybe some bolts. Bring it down, put the new one up, screw it in place, put the heat shields on, clip, 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 and you're done. That's, I mean, I don't think it's going to be that simple, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of rust under there, and each one of them bolts will probably give me a headache, probably even snap. But you know, we'll take it as it goes. Yeah, a lot of you guys probably won't even bother replacing these. If you do, these are a bit more tricky. You'll have to remove the drum. You'll probably have to separate the actual, yeah, you'll probably take all the springs off, because you need to take the actual shoe out to attach that, I think. So that is quite technical. If you guys are capable of working on rear drums, they're not that difficult. Take a picture, they're pretty straightforward to follow. But yeah, for the most part, you guys will probably just watch the video of me doing this. But if you guys are replacing these, then hopefully this may help you out. So the first step will be to jack your vehicle up. I'm not going to show you guys how to do that. I'm pretty sure if you're replacing the handbrake cable, you know how to jack your vehicle safely. Probably loosen these off half a turn before I jack the car up, just to make it easier to get the wheel off, because I will be replacing these. If you guys, if you're just replacing this cable, you probably don't have to remove the wheel, technically, because you can get access. Basically, the cable end here, that basically just slots it there. Then you crimp this together, so you can actually access this from under the car. So you probably won't need to remove the wheel if you're just doing that. But I am removing the wheel because I got to replace these. So let's get to it. So the vehicle is up off the ground. We now have plenty of access to get to the brake cable. There is a jack stand under this point here. You can see the arrow. That is securely in place. This one, it's a bit too far back, but it's not actually touched anything. That's only if that fails. The front is blocked and it's in gear, so it will not roll forward or come back. And we have the same on the other side. I have the jack under there as well. Obviously, it's not ideal. I think if the car was to fall, the jack will probably damage the sill where it's at, but it's not going to fall. And if it does fall, I'd rather damage the sill than crush me. So yeah, I'll take that any day. So this is your connecting cable. This is the shorter lead I was talking about. This is the cable that's actually in pretty decent condition. It's still got the protective covering, it's still got the rubber boot, it's still got this bit slide up and down. It has came away a bit there, but for the most part it's there. So from this point to the drum is the smaller pieces, and the larger piece is this knuckle all the way to the center of the car. So I'm guessing, like I say, I've not done this before, but we need to remove all the heat shields. It goes over this cover, and I think it goes up and behind here, and then up the center. So I'm hoping I don't have to remove the exhaust. I might have to remove 1 or 2 brackets and have the exhaust hang down. But hopefully there's a couple of inches above the exhaust, so all being well, get these nuts off. The heat shield should hopefully just rest on top of the exhaust. and we can figure out where the anchor points are, because that cable will be attached to the car somewhere. The next step will be to WD-40 every one of these connection points and let that soak in for a bit, and then we can try and get these off. They feel like a 10mm, probably are a 10mm. So under the car, this is your handbrake cable coming in. I don't know if you can see it. It's there, and this cable comes in the back of here. It goes on top of this tray, so this tray is going to have to come down. It goes under this heat shield to where the exhaust is, and then it looks like it runs down here, or this side. I think it probably comes to this side because the handbrake's on the right hand side. So I'd imagine the cable comes on top of this and then down. These are broke. I did actually look, and I think these were already broken. That's why I looked, and I think yeah, because that's how I identified that the cable was actually okay at the front, because you can see it. I'm beginning to wish I actually jacked up the front of the car now, because there's not really that much room. I don't know how far forward I need to go, but some of these are already broke off. This one here is broke off, and I think there's one up the top. These ones have obviously snapped. Is it going to just keep turning, or is it going to snap, or what's going to happen? I think coming down. What I'll do with these, there you go. You can see they're just rotted. That's the actual bit of metal from the top, so there's a big hole there now. So what I will do is I do have some big washers, and I'll put a big washer around here, then put the nut back on, and that'll keep it all up where it should be. This one's actually broke. I'm still gonna take it off. They're actually coming off okay, which is good news. So I'm just gonna go around and remove every one of these 10mm nuts. I think there's probably, I can see 2 there, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it's 10 in total. So this plastic trim, which is next to the drums just here, and the cable runs over the top, there is a fixing up here, there's one here, and there's one at the very front just there. It is a Torx 30, so you'll need one of them to get these out, and hopefully these should come out no problem. And that's them there, so you need 3 of them. There's one, I think, just there, and like I say, one on the left. Right, let's get this handbrake cable out, because I want to see what fixings we have to work with. Clearly a screw or something goes through them, or do they just pull off? They might just push on, you know. So there's a 10mm bolt up there. Can you guys see it? So we need to remove that. Then this bit will come down. Oh, I don't like the way that feels. Oh, there we go. She's moving. Thank God for that. It's tight though. I don't like how tight that feels. Let's put it back in a bit. We'll put a bit more WD-40 on it. And just take your time, guys, because you don't want to snap this off. There she is. We'll be cleaning that up. I'm putting some copper slip anti-seize on that for sure, because that was pretty darn tight. That was pretty close to snapping. So regarding this clip, I don't see anything on here that I can unscrew or remove, so I think this may be just pushed on, which it was. So that just pulls off. There's two of them. I can see another one just there, which is going to be tricky to get to. Just where my screwdriver is, just there. Same kind of thing. So we'll just pop that off and that should be that done. So the bracket has been disconnected and we have removed that clip and the one further back. I bent the heat shield down. You couldn't get access, so that is now down. It is now time to do the other side. So I'll go over there off camera and remove the bracket and the two clips, and that should bring us to meet in the middle here. Right, so I've got this side off. It's a bit of a mess under there, quite a dirty job actually, but I have noticed there's a bolt here. So the cable comes through and across, and then it goes down to a bracket here. The other three are the same, but that one's different because it holds that brake line. So just remove the brake line, just pull it out gently and put it below, then put a screwdriver behind, then that will come loose like so. So just to the left of the fuel lines there is another clip. Unclip that and that's all released. It's a bit tight, but you can see that is where the cable goes into the cabin and it comes to this bracket, and this is the bracket we have. So the only bit of cable left is from there back, so we need to figure out how to remove that from that cable. But I have removed the heat shield. Now the heat shields, they're kind of stacked on top of each other. So this one was at the very top overlap. This one overlapped this one, which was overlapped by this one. So I pulled this one down a couple of inches and I managed to slide this one back and then rotate it round and drop it out. As you can see, it's just there. Yeah, I don't think you could do it without doing that because the connections are right above here. Now I'm guessing, I haven't looked, but I think you just pull them down, and because we've got plenty of slack on the cable, we should be able to just push this back and unhook it from the catch. Let's have a go. See, I don't even know what you guys can even see. This is my first video in a while. It's probably not the best height to get. So yeah, so if that's slack, that will come off. So do these just, as it clips, gonna push. What do you have to do? What is this sorcery? The exhaust is very conveniently placed. Is there a clip on both sides? Of course there is. So you have to get a hand in there on both sides and then somehow pull. Interesting. There is probably a tool to do this. Actually, I think there's a few clips. Yeah, there is. Oh, there's at least 3, maybe even 4. Cable tie, maybe. You might have to release some tension on the handbrake in the cabin to get that off actually, but let's have a look, see if we can. So in the cabin, this is your handbrake. Now I thought the adjustment would have been underneath. It looks, does that just pop out? Oh, hang on. I think that just pops out, you know. Oh, it's hot. There we go. Yeah. Ah, right. So there's a nut, 13mm maybe. Yeah, try 13. It's 13 or 14. Long reach 13mm with a 14mm. It's doing the job. Right, that's pretty much all the way out. So that should be plenty slack now. I mean, that's not even engaging, so it should be a bit of free play under the car. Right guys, so I hope you can see what I can see, because I can't see what you can see. There's plenty of slack on the cable, so if we angle that back, this should just fish out. Two hands would be best, but I can't move. There we go. So that's handbrake cable released. So now it's just a case of pinching these three clips, if you can even see what I'm doing. Right, there's 1, 2, 3. Push. That's out. Do that again for the white one, which the white one, for reference, looks like it goes to the driver's side. Guess that's how you tell the difference. And also the clip, as I found out, was different. Fiddly. You're not even kidding. You need like little tiny hands. There we go. Right, it is released. So the only thing keeping this attached is them 2 bolts. Let's go and get them off. Right, so I think that is a 7. Yeah. Let's hope this doesn't break off. Oh, it's actually fine. It's only plastic, this, so, well, obviously the screw isn't plastic, but what it screws into is plastic. So, yep, that is loose. So the next step would be to separate this from this if you were keeping this, but I'm going to replace it, so I could just cut it. But let's see how easy it is to split. So this handbrake, this cable seized, so I haven't really got the... See, normally you will be able to pull this cable back and it'll pop out. You see it moving? See how it's loose? And then that would just pop out, but I can't pull the cable out further to grab it. So I'll just have to try and open it more. There we go. Done. So I've did this side and actually snapped off, so that just shows you. But yeah, see how the cable moves on this one. So you can, well, it didn't move, it pulls in and out. So you can pull it out, unhook it, and then it releases. So I'll get this grub screw removed. In theory, that should all just pull out. So we have the new and the old. I've compared them and they look to be the correct ones, thank God. As you can see, these are the new ends. That's a bit of an improvement over the condition of the wire. The brackets seem to tally up. There's actually, I didn't see this, but there's actually a plug that I should have probably removed. But I think the rust was that bad, it just kind of fell out anyway. But we'll transfer them across. This is where the bolt will go through. You have the clips. See how the clips are different? There's 3 like this and there's 1 like this. Well, actually no, there's 2 small ones and there's a larger one and there's this one. This one is the driver's side, same as this one. That's where your brake line goes through. So this is a passenger, that's your driver, and then this is where the cable attaches back onto. So these ones don't have plastic clips, they have a metal one. So you should just push that in and that should just hold that in place. This is the driver's side. I mean, it's pretty, look at the state of that. That's not much life left in it really, is there? But it works. This side, just not. These ones are a good difference in that. Both of these are, even this one which works is tight and it sticks. You will get people saying, put some WD-40 down and just give it a few pulls. Yeah, it might go loose, but as you can see it's all swollen there. There's probably water inside which has rotted the cables, and there'd be some snapped cables inside, and then cables would have stuck in the pipe, in the tube. Now this is stuck off, which is the best result really. What's to say I get this lubricated and then I put the handbrake on and I can't get back off? It's just not worth the hassle. Put new ones in, it's just the way forward. It's 31, 32 degrees. It's absolutely roasting. I don't know what's going on today. It's the heat, it's just, tomorrow is thunderstorms, so it should be better tomorrow. But I'll have a break and then we'll come back, put this back in. That on the driver's side was a nightmare to get out. Getting this and that clip over the brake line and the fuel pipes wasn't fun. It was possible obviously, but it wasn't great. You could technically, you could split this and pull the cable out. I don't want to mess about with that really. I'd rather leave that as it is. So I'll just persevere and we'll get it back in. I'm going to probably push them ends, clip them in place, and then work my way back, and I'll feed this over the exhaust, around, on top of the fuel tank, over the fuel lines, over the brake line, and then to the rear wheel. This one just sits on top of the heat shield, and the heat shield's already half down, so this one really will just kind of clip in, and then it should sit just here. So let's give it a go. There is a clip here and a clip there, and that just goes towards the back. So if we just, that's kind of roughly in place, and we can probably get this one even clipped in maybe. Let's have a look. There we go. That one's in. So once we find the clipped locations, that's how it's done. So you just kind of line it up and then you push pretty hard. Can't do it with my left hand, but you push that through until it clips and looks like that one. There we go, so they're in place. We now need to put that through this. See if I can do this on camera. There's a hole at the back, you see? It slides through, and then over the cable. Can't do it with one hand, but that'll slide over and then lock in. So that was really difficult because it's quite a tight fit, which is good because you don't want it coming off. But as you can see now, when that cable, handbrake cable inside the cabin is tight, it'll be like this. And then obviously when you pull the handbrake cable, that will pull these, but the minute they're quite stretched out, they probably should be something like that. That's kind of your setup. Then you pull the handbrake and it pulls the cables out. Cable will come down and then around this corner. and this is what I got stuck on before. This brake line hose is in the way, and these fuel line hoses are in the way. But for whatever reason, I think it was just the angle. So this bracket was angled like this for me, and it just slid all the way through. I don't know why the other one was being such a pain, but this one went straight through. So you can keep pulling that, and then you've got a clip here, which, can you see or not, where my finger is, there's like a screw bolt sticking out, and I can't do this with one hand, I don't think. No, you need like a screwdriver or a pry bar. But this is pushing on there. This is the second clip, the driver's side, and that goes on once I get it in place. Can you see that? There's the thread there that just pushes on really tight, to be fair. I have to use a small pry bar or something to get that on, but once that's on, this brake line then clips in that little bracket, and that on that clip, if you can see, it's kind of hanging off, holds it in place. Brake cable comes down here to this clip. I had this clip upside down, so the cable needs to be upwards as high as you possibly can, because it needs to clear the heat shield. The way I had the clip, the cable was down here, so that is in now and secure. This one here is pushed in securely, and the brake line is attached, so this is now all done. See the top there, you just slide it over the top and drop it down. Put your cap, your plastic plug in here, and put your bulb through there. That is done. And the other end goes through and then pushes up against that, and we'll come to this side and we'll put the screw in. Then that is the end of the cable on this side. So the passenger side is not so bad. So the cable comes down on top of the heat shields. We'll have a clip just there, and then a clip here, and then it feeds round to the bracket and then through the actual opening. Put a bit of anti-seize on. So that's a bung, and the bolt is in. That is done. So with this one, it angles in at the front, and then pull it back to yourself, because there is a tug at the front which has to grip, and then get your bolt. This will be quite a tight fix. I think you're actually going to thread the hole as you're going. It's just a lump of plastic basically. There you go, don't go too tight. You don't want to strip it. And that's it guys, so that is your handbrake cable. As you can see, nice and loose. So you could do that essentially. Dip that down, adjust your handbrake in the car, and you'll be good to go. So I'm going to do the other side, get the other side finished off, and then I'm going to put that heat shield back, which is over there. Put some washers on, so the nuts that I have will hold it, and then we can come back and address these. Right, so we are finished with the underside of the car. The brakes are ready here just to reconnect back up to the drum. The plastics, which are here, are all back on. Heat shield is installed. You can probably see one of the washers I've put on. Put a couple on, just holds it all up. So the next step will be fitting this new cable. This is the cable I have to install. It is part number, well, there it is there, and this is it here. So to install this, we need to remove the drum, and I'd imagine all the brake hardware, remove the cable, put the new one in, put it back together, and should be good to go. Right, you're going to want clean gloves for this. They'll get dirty again, but you're touching brakes, so the best thing you can do really is keep your hands clean. Let's get this out. and that is there. So take your drum off. Your drum won't come off this easily. You might have to knock it a few times, get a pry bar in, a bit of WD-40 on the hub. There's ways to get them off. The easiest way is a couple of bolts through here and it'll just pry straight off. This isn't really a brake shoe replacement video. I guess I could do one of them. Make sure there's anti-seize on the inside. That will help you when it comes to getting back in here again in the future. So these are brand new shoes and brand new hardware. So the easiest way to get these out that I found is remove the top spring and the bottom spring. Then you can pull the shoes to the side. Once the shoes are at the side in these grooves, these pins will become loose. Pull that down, and then there is a spring here you need to remove, and this, your adjuster should have already fallen out, or if not, be ready to be removed, and then you can remove your shoes. I could do this in more detail. This is a 20-minute video in its own right. I don't want to make this video any longer than it is. So if you are planning on replacing this, you probably already know how to do this. If not, I could possibly do a video down the line if that's something you guys would be interested in. But I'm just going to bomb through this and get it done so I can get this new cable installed. The cable basically goes in like that and then comes around and hooks onto this piece here, and when you pull the handbrake it pushes the shoes out and makes contact with the drum. Right, I should add this three springs, the top spring and the bottom spring face out. When I say that, you see how the coil is at the front. The other spring, which is round here, faces at the back. So just remember that. And also the bigger coil at the top and the bigger coil at the back faces towards the back. If you remember that, you're golden. There we go. As I say, the coil's sticking out and the larger bit where the only coil is at the back. Now you've got this spring here. This one is at the back with the hooks facing forward. Notice the orientation. So these are a bit fiddly. Sometimes long needle nose are best. Get it from the bottom. There we go. Get that removed. Then the shoes will pull to the side, like so. Then you can remove the clip. Oh, actually grab your adjuster. So your adjuster comes off with that bit facing backwards. Just slide your pin off one shoe, slide the pin, and this is your handbrake one. You need to remove that at the back. There is some clips inside, top and bottom. Push the top one. There we go. So we're putting this one in place of this one. The boot's all torn up. This one's the actual better one, the other side's worse. This one probably lasts a bit longer, but as you can see it's all starting to break down inside of there, so that's trash. Get the new one, slide it in and just push it into the clips like so, and that is it. So I've already got grease on the contact points, but it doesn't hurt, does it, to put a bit more on. There's 3 contact points, you'll notice them, 3 little areas across the top. So you've got one here. This is anti-seize. Ideally you should use proper brake grease. I do actually have some, but I just don't know where it's at. And then there's 6 in total. See, there's one here, one there, and same on the other side. Just put a little bit on your piston, and then when they make contact at the bottom, just put a little bit in there, and then you slide it across. That's locked in place. And then if you just rest it in, and this is where you want to be careful, you don't want to put any anti-seize on your shoes. Do the same on the other side. The trick with these is you're not actually putting them in the final position, you're putting them in the groove at the side, so they're quite loose. What you do then is you line up the bottom bit, and then the top bit, pull it across. It's a bit tight, but there you go. Then that becomes nice and tight. Do the same on the other side. The bottom, as the bottom has to clip in, then pull your top across. There you go. Get them fairly even, about there. Right, so spring is on correctly. The adjustment spring is on the lever correctly. Everything is making contact. The pins are snug. It is making contact at the bottom, and the spring is on as well. So we should be good to go. So the next step will be to just get a bit of brake clean. Give the pads a clean. So it's back on. Make sure it's snug and there is zero resistance. So back off and just adjust the self-adjuster. I normally go 2 or 3 clicks at a time, but that seemed really far off, so there, I can just hear that. There we go. You could push these down just to lock it in, stop it from kind of come back on itself and coming out, but that ain't gonna come out. And they didn't do that from the factory, so I'm sure that'll be okay. So at the minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's too many for me. I personally like 3 to 5 clicks, so that's 5, and 5's pretty darn solid. And what you want to make sure as well is when it's off, your wheels move nice and freely. This one, that's what, that's about 1.5 turns. That's pretty much perfect. That's what you want. 3 clicks and it's pretty tight. So 5 should be spot on. Look at that pile of rust. There's probably the same, if not more, on the other side. Crazy the amount of rust under this thing. I used to have a pickup truck and that was rusty, but didn't used to get a pile of dirt every time I did some work on the car or the pickup truck. So the next step is to get the car on the ground, torque the wheel nuts. I think these are 100 foot-pounds, something like that. If you have the handbrake at the max you can possibly get it and it's still creeping ever so slightly or making a creaking sound when you're in the car moving around and it's creaking, just tighten it down. If you've got more turns on that nut in the center console and you should be good to go. And the drums, yes, the drums look terrible. They do look terrible, but they're fine. I cleaned the insides out and there was a lip of maybe 1 mil, if that, really, 1.5 max. I took that lip down and the drums are perfectly fine on the inside. They just cosmetically look pretty rough. I'll probably take these off at some point and maybe sandblast them and give them some paint. But for the time being, I've got issues with the car. That's more of a comfort and safety issue, so I'll get them sorted and then probably come back to these, sandblast them, give them a lick of paint, and they'll look brand new. So for those interested, there was actually quite a bit of meat left on the old shoes. when I replace them. As you can see, it's a good 2-3 mil, which is, you know, low. You should replace them at that point, but you know, they're not bad. What was it? A 7, an 8, and a 10 mil socket. Screwdriver. Obviously, jack and equipment, and something to get your wheel nuts off and secure the car. But if you're going to attempt this work, you'll already have jack stands and a jack. You'll definitely have a socket with a couple of sockets, and you'll probably even have a Torx bit. If not, you can pick them up. They're pretty cheap. I'll put a link down in the description for these ones, and any other tools or anything else I've used in the description down below. But yeah, there you go, guys. Hopefully, with all this information, and like I say, go online, read forums, go on the websites, see what people are doing, go on YouTube, watch them, and basically compile this together and give it a go. It is not difficult, it's effort. I really could do with a better system than this. Quick jacks would be fantastic, and wear eye protection. I did not wear eye protection, and now I'm in a lot of pain. So yeah, make sure you wear your goggles. Don't be dumb like I am. But yeah, I'm gonna call this one here, guys. So thank you very much for watching. If you made it to the end, thank you, appreciate it. Like always, please like, comment, subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one.